Okay, now I'm going to share this to Facebook. Thank you for your patience. There's just a couple of steps here. And here we go. So we should be all set on both platforms. And so I want to welcome everyone to this segment, whether you're live, whether you're watching on replay, whenever it is. I'm glad that you are called to this moment that we're recording. We have a wonderful, we're actually closing our event now. The event has been going since 12 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock a.m. Eastern time today. And it will be it's after 7 o'clock. So we'll be done by 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And we have broadcast almost every single hour. 18 contributors. They've been just amazing. And we're wrapping it up with Ivonne, who's currently located in Nevada in the United States. And we're going to come to her in just a minute because she will have a lot to offer that you can tap into and not just benefit from, but flourish through the application of. And so I'm Jeannie Fritsch. I'm the host of the event. I'm the humble and grateful host of the event. It's a pleasure to be able to coordinate these amazing women and one man who contributed, and everyone offered a theme for what they wanted their message to be. But the event was specifically created to fill a void for anyone experiencing a void on Christmas Day. The void can usually shows up in some level of loneliness, of disconnection, of dissatisfaction, and often it is the result of a shift in life that doesn't feel pleasurable or doesn't feel like it's something that's desirable. It could be the death of someone close. It could be the death of a relationship. It could be the death of a job that no longer is there. It can be, a huge shift in a financial situation resulting from any of those, or a health challenge. But however it comes, I've even talked previously that I have been lonely. I have experienced loneliness, not when I'm without anyone, just being disconnected in the room with all kinds of people. And there are lots of different levels of loneliness, but it is an invitation to heal something. And what we're going to do is conclude this offering that invites you to look at, to review the different contributions from this event and extract a couple of things that you can immediately begin implementing so that your Christmas 2023 has a completely different level of fulfillment than the one that you're experiencing today, if that is who you are. So thank you, Ivonne, for letting me get all of that out, because this is the conclusion. Because once I turn it over to you, I'll probably not have a whole bunch to say. I might ask you a few things, but I really am looking forward to what you're going to offer. You've been here. We've done this 5 out of the last 6 years and intend to do it every year going forward. And you have been here for every single year. You're one of the handful of people who caught the vision and dedicated the time. I know family is there. I know you have family there, and you've paused your celebration just to be able to celebrate humanity. And so here we are. And I would love to introduce you to Ivonne Delafleur. And if you could just fill in a little of the details around who you are and how you've come to be who you are and how you serve.
So first of all, I am so grateful to be here every year, and particularly this year, I feel that there is a heightened, not importance, but uniqueness, gift, offering that God has for us all, through this portal that you have created, the Day of Light and Love. It is a portal. It's not only an event. It's not only when we come to speak. It's not only when we come to serve. It's really a portal, and it reminds me a little bit of the Bethlehem place of where Jesus metaphorically was born, right? In its little cradle, its little place where all the Christ consciousness story and interpretations of that energy began to brew. So I feel that you are not only hosting this incredible event, that I'm so honored, especially amongst those. I know almost every single one of the beautiful women and the men that got to speak today. And so my heart rejoices that they got not only the opportunity, but also the space that you offer for them to share their wisdom. Incredible people. So I'm so honored. I just want to thank you first. And it seems to be most enlightening to be here because of, we paused through the pandemic. You and I went through the bardo, which is the darkest space in transition between life and death, right? In many different ways. And we thrived through it, not survive, thrive through it. So I feel a deeper sense of responsibility of being here. So that said, a little brief of me, because I have created so much and I don't want it to share about me by what I do, but hopefully about what I serve today for you all. So I'm the founder of the International School of Futuring, the Brilliant Futures Production Film Company, about to launch an agency about that. I'm the creator of the Network for Human Empowerment Television Network in Latin America. I've been serving Latin America philanthropic since I remember I could breathe, especially more so since 25 years old. I'm the founder of a nonprofit organization that has built orphanage schools with the support and an incredible team, part of my team, and they are really incredible. Some of them were here in in your beautiful portal and event. I'm also an author, and I'm launching a new book next year. I serve the community, and I have served my community for more than 20 plus years, number one, in helping them through trauma integration modalities, family constellations, shadow work for many, many years. I have also contributed to my community and humanity by educating and certifying people and incredible teachers and leaders in a system called Future. That we will touch base today a little bit on that, talking about the North Star, the Christ consciousness, and in it, the future of God, the future of faith, and the future of us all. I'm a speaker, keynote speaker, and my most favorite role right now is a mother. And also, I'm a family constellations therapy, all of that. I have so many embodied, not only hand diplomas, but my most, how I serve humanity is truly loving it. And truly loving it not through words, but through actions. I consider myself and our team active participants in the contribution of humanity. And we aspire to be in the arena until the last day that God calls us to our next adventure, serving and hopefully serving in a way that we can produce, engage, sculpt, even deeper and stronger light, just to serve as reflections of what God is. So I did the best, Dr. James.
That was beautiful.
Introducing myself. Yeah.
That was a lot. And you did a great job.
Thank you. I also love music, poetry, and a lot of those things are coming out next year, going back to the most poetic and most artistic part of what God wants me to do on earth. So that's my intro.
Beautiful.
So you tell
how do you most like to serve? I mean, you said as mother and helping humanity, but are there you mentioned a bunch of modalities. I know that you have a group, Convergence, that's launching. I think I've been a part of every one of them, and it's well worth the investment. That is an amazing container. I know that you host, you help businesses, you help business people, like you said, the agency,
Yes.
but I think that just would love to know what you're called to share for the person who's pulled this up and is watching.
So one of the things, how I love to serve people in their own truth, not in my truth, not in my modalities. I have diverse modalities that support a unique individual, a corporation, a team, and even groups of huge people. I serve from corporate to the mystic, to the mother, to the, all of those different hats that we wear as humans. But what I like to serve, I have modalities that fit in the perspective of that we have on the past, right? Trauma integration, shadow work, ownership of the shadow, dark therapy, family concept, all of that serves for the perception that we all as humans have from the past, to release the past. And as you know, we say to use the past as a place of reference, not as a death sentence or a place of residence. Then, I'm moving to the future because as a chosen human to be in a position of leadership, not of influence. And chosen of leadership is because it's hard, it's challenging, it's amazing, and it's an incredible responsibility to lead oneself and lead others. And so one of the most important parts of leadership in my experience and perspective is to have a future-oriented mind, to have a future-oriented focus, to know when to plan, how to shift plans, to start with the future in mind. They call it, in the corporate world, reverse engineering. People are very comfortable with that. When we use the term futuring, it's like, oh my gosh, futuring. No, it's the same as reverse engineering, but with more feeling, with more the power of the mystic, the power of the spiritual powers, mastering the art of use of our subconscious mind and our imagination. So those teachings are a little bit more advanced. It needs to be, for people that are really futuristic, but still present. And I'll go back to the present moment, and that are eager to really serve humanity, not because of them, but because it's the right thing to do. The old narrative of I want to serve humanity, it's really just a duty. It's really just, there's an evolutionary impulse that we all have to just be good, great future ancestors of our future generations. And it's a gift that God has given us to transcend, ascend, learn, and live right now while we're living, and when we are gone or pass through the portals of creation, leave a legacy right now that matters. And without planning, without executing those plans, without vision, as you have heard it, without vision, not only the people perish, just the people go in circles like a dog chasing its tail. So I help people, corporations, and right now this is what most people are calling me for. Futuring. They are not interested anymore in the past. They're interested in how do we move forward, towards, and Godwards, right? And the other modality that is very deep in my psyche, in my soul, and I believe this is what God, it's not that he wants me to do, is an area that I have not chosen. It's a choiceless choice. It's a happening for me. It's an inner knowing, and I have devoted my life. And sometimes, and I'm going to use the word temporarily, sacrifice relationships, identities, and narratives because of this. Is the path of spirituality and God realization. It's a complete devotion, not only to the present moment, because I believe God is an ultimate futurist. It's non-linear. So even the word present limits that. But is spiritual teachings, or from very ancient traditions. I have devoted my life in not only learning in, but earning the learning, embodying so, and really sit with people and just pass them on. Like all my old teachers used to pass it on verbally to their students. There was no Zooms, there was nothing like that. And that practice of devotion, of that, the practice in the presence of God, right? And really having that point, that the middle point, like the point of, it transcends pendulums, it transcends past, future, all the identities. It's the encounter with the divine while in a human form. So that is something that I contribute consistently. That's something that I believe chose me, if that is, if that even is a word. And that's where we serve. It's like, the membership inner circle that we have, Convergence, that is really ancient teachings from the Dhammapada, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, the Torah, all of the equations and all different languages that have been used to portray God as something that we could speak of, but we get to, actualize them, make them modern, and apply them individually for each of us. So our experience of God is unique as it should be. So every single human can say, I and my Father are one, right? And every single human can actually believe, regardless of religion or tradition, what Jesus used to say: what I have done in the name of my Father, you will be able to do even more so, because that's the spiritual aspect. So that's my foundation, that's my North Star, that's and so the rest, what I do to support people, either with the shadow integration, the family constellations, the adapting into life, I'm good at that after a near-death experience that I have, and then actually helping them own it, on every experience, and then launch futures, launch businesses, launch movements. I'm all, how big I am into movements. I don't like to do things small. So I like to do movements, and I love to help people do their own movements because I can feel the presence of God in them. But the point of rest, the point of home, the point of the now, which transcends even time, is the spiritual aspect. So I consider myself devoted to that practice, devoted to God realization. And through that, I help people through beingness. The others are the doings that I do. So hopefully this makes sense. Dr.
Absolutely, it does. It totally does. Yes.
So we do that. So
what more can you offer on the Christ consciousness as your North Star?
So this is the topic of today, right? So what, this is a day of Christmas, as it is assigned by calendars of mankind, right? Like actually this, and a dear friend of mine, Martin, was sharing with me the history of this day that we all celebrate. It began on the 1920s. It didn't begin on the times of Jesus. It didn't begin on even in the Roman Empire or the Egyptian. It began in the 1920s because the people were in need of something, in need of fashion, in need of some kind of healing through the world wars that we all had, right? So it is, I'm eager to use this date as a point of light, as you have invited, and as a point where, because of the focus of so many people in the world right now, is on Christ Mass, the more of Christ. If you separate the word Christmas, you have the word Christ, which is consciousness, and then you have Mass, which is more. So you have more opportunity to be aware if you use this date, this moment, not as a point of marketing, not as a point of only blind believing. You got to inquire the thoughts, but also like if we are all converging, most of humanity, even the atheists, the Jewish, everyone knows that today is the celebration of Christmas, whatever religion you are. So we have an opportunity that the focus is so much here that we can actually harness that power and really take that investigation, this rational inquiry on what Christ means for us. And I love this Kriya Yogi, great, incredible master that brought Kriya Yoga to the West, Swami Yogananda, that says, focus on the Christ consciousness within. What would it be to live like the Christ? Skip the crucifixion part. What would it be if you crucify the ego, if you sacrifice the identities of me, of you, of blame, of judgment? What happens if you send those to the cross and you ascend as the Christ within, really knowing, owning, feeling that you are the child of the divine, and that the Christ consciousness, this example of a man becoming God, right? Of a man, of Jesus, which is Jehovah, and Jesus means G-I, sus, am. On that I am presence, what will happen if Jesus was our North Star, our GPS, you and I call it our futuronometer. And we chose activities, thoughts, words, beliefs, everything that will resemble what the Christ consciousness is. I truly believe that we will see far much more miracle creations in the earth. We will attract, magnetize far much more better qualities of our own living. And the Christmas, which is for me, Christmas is a state of mind. It's not a date in the Gregorian calendar. It could expand. We will be kinder to one another. We will take responsibility for our creation, because that's what a Christ will do. So one of my teachers used to say, you got to be aware of all that you pray to, because many people want the Buddha, but the Buddha comes and we poison him, right? That's how Buddha died. Many people want the Christ, but when the Christ shows up, we crucify it. And so the moment the Christ consciousness really becomes, instead of a person and an idol out there, a point of focus and of guidance for all of us to aspire to become more Christ-like, to feel into the what is good of the Christ consciousness for me. What good can I offer to people? How? If this is my GPS, my North Star, where could I go? And it's into the future, which is now. It's not into the past, because even Christ has moved into the future, right? How do we know it? We have the evidence that till this day, we're still talking about that energy and that presence in our lives. So that's like the North Star, right? Like if I can guide myself not only through core values, but the principles of Christ consciousness, the commitment to God elevation, the focus of this God realization that includes every single being. I mean, Dr. Yin, that's Christmas for me. I'm excited. I'm excited even to talk about it. I'm like, I envision humanity like opening the gift of themselves and realizing that God is inside each package that has been grabbed with experiences, with darkness, with loss, with happiness. And once you remove those ribbons and that paper, all you can experience is God.
Mm. And you were saying earlier in the future of God.
Yeah.
Would you expound on that a smidge?
Yes. So we have an opportunity in humanity right now with artificial intelligence rising in the attention of people. You know, the technology that we have created, humans, some of us humans are rejecting. So we hear topics of AI doesn't have a soul. I mean, I will hope so, that some artistic kind of frequency, you know, and I do not know, right? But I will hope so that we keep the soul going. So now the conversation in humanity is about the soul. It's about now challenging the status quo of even physics and scientists. You know, it's right now we have an open invitation. Instead of judging technology, instead of worrying if it has no soul or not, for us to harness the power of our own soul. Let our soul lead, because the future of God is speed, is velocity. The need that humanity is going to have more and more of spiritual mastery, of kind of it's not a return to the past, but return to fundamentals where new civilizations can rise. And while all the speed of science and technology is accelerating simultaneously, we gotta speed up while being present in the moment, so that we don't become a civilization that loses its soul. And obviously we cannot lose what we are. However, there may be another spell, another dormant collective Mandela effect, where we may think that the enemy out there doesn't have soul. And in the process, we may become that. So the future of God depends in each one of us, how we pray, how we live, how we serve, how much joy we infuse in each moment, and how committed we are. Yes, I know we all have trauma. Yes, I know the past is sometimes hard, but we are required right now in the future of God to accelerate our healing and choose joy and choose elevation and plan for the best case scenario and the best elevation for all of us in this human life. Because, you know, I feel it. I feel the evolutionary impulse of God. If we are evolving, Dr. Yin, and we are a speck, a mustard seed of God, so imagine how God is evolving at this moment. So I want to catch up with my dad. I want to catch up with my mom. I want to follow its lead. I want to be a humble servant, a good, present, obedient leader, right? I want to have godly obedience to the future that adapts and that grows in faith and that grows in focus and that grows in no more distractions, so we can all God realize. I think we're about to experience some of the greatest things that humanity has ever experienced as a civilization, not as an individual. So we gotta, the term Godspeed right now, it has another meaning. It's
Okay.
Godspeed for real.
Okay, so for someone who is new or
Mhm.
early in the path, could you
Mhm.
offer just a couple of steps that
Yes.
that they could implement? Simple, the challenge is always to do it and to do it consistently, but
Yes.
something simple that can be implemented to begin to participate at that level that you just brought to us.
Yes. So I believe right now, even the people that believe that they're just starting, that have no awareness of even the term awareness, or that they've been so much in a religion or indoctrinated by the beliefs of the culture, whatever it is. I truly believe that right now we have an opportunity. There's quantum leaps going on for everyone, but one of the most simple steps, and I really believe anyone can do it, whether we have gone to school or not, whether we have read a sacred text or not, whether we are believers or not, whatever the higher aspect of God anybody wants to believe, is to pray. Prayer is a technology of consciousness. It tends to accelerate everything for everyone. And the simple tip that I can give is to pray, not only with abandonment, but to pray positively, to be an optimist, which now sounds like a cliche, but I truly believe that there's kind of a equation to, even if you're going through the darkest of times, you have no money, you have no education, you can barely see a Zoom like this, just to have a little prayer and pray to infinite intelligence, to God, like, God, open my eyes, help me open my heart, tell me what wisdom or what is the way, or what do you right now want for me? Simple. Not even a prayer of request, God, remove my, nothing. No doing, just what do you want for me, God? I think that's the most practical prayer, because God will answer. And how I know it answers is because we're breathing. And I don't have to have a religion, a belief, education, have been like myself in India or this or that with hundreds of hours with spiritual education or not. It's just a moment. God, what do you want for me? You don't believe in God? What does existence want for me? What does my own evolution wants for me? What does my soul desires for me? And sit in stillness with that. That's meditation. That's prayer. That's God connection. That's the highest spiritual moment. And that's simple, and simplicity has power.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to wrap up?
Oh my God. Shall we do a little filtering energy exercise for everyone that includes prayer?
I was hoping so.
All right. So, but first of all, thank you, everyone. I get so passionate about it. But the moment God is involved in the equation of the conversation, is like it becomes a God-versation, not a conversation. So for this, what we're going to do is going to be a power imagery process. We call them PEEPs. And this I learned from the founder of the Imagery Institute in New York. He passed a couple of years ago. He was my teacher. So this is not of my doing. This is not of my creation. I happen to be a happy custodian to pass the torch to others of these practices. And now power imagery processes serve as micro inputs through visuals, through auditory, to create macro outputs. So the power of imagination is well studied from Einstein, Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, you can research. It's really powerful. So just to give a little pre-education on that part. And what we're going to do is literally meeting the future of God in joy for us all. So this empowering mastery process like that is going to require for all of you to sit straight, to keep your spine straight, because, we want our spine, and our posture is like wearing a nice dress for New Year's Eve. How do you show up to a VIP party when you and God are going to meet? So we want to be straight. We want to be, we want to have grace. We want to have elegance. If you want support for your back, you can do it. It's going to take a couple of minutes. It's not long. This is not a meditation. This is not even a long visualization. It's just a power imagery process, a little impulse, a little contribution to your imagination. Is not hypnosis. This is not a substitute for anything medical. It's up to you. So I'll guide you with the words that were specific for this exercise. And I wish you an incredible journey with the future of God in you. So we're going to close our eyes, beloved Dr. Jean. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths, but we're going to start with the exhale, not with the inhale. So exhale. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. And inhale through the nose. And with your eyes closed, just breathe normally. And I want you to know that the future breathes, the future confirms, the future leaves you clues. That your imagination has a skill of perception like the dolphins have, that long before something happens, you have perceived different realities. So with that awareness, I want you to imagine, envision, hear, touch, feel that you are in the presence of a huge, big mountain in front of you. This mountain is beautiful. It's midday. It's a little hot. The sun is shining. You're beginning to sweat a little. But you have an impulse to climb up this mountain because you know that at the top there's a beautiful olive tree that you've been told of, that you've been spoken of, that you've heard in many scriptures. And you want to climb that mountain to see and meet this tree. You begin to climb the mountain mindfully, gratefully, with every step being a prayer for joy, a prayer for presence. Every climb is a healing, an integration of a shadow, without you having to think, but is my mom, my dad? Trust the mountain with its wisdom. It has been here for years before you were here. Let the earth heal you. Let the earth support you. And just keep climbing and climbing. You can feel the wind in your skin. You can far away, you hear the faraway sounds of maybe civilization, maybe some birds. You keep sweating because the sun is getting hotter, it's warmer, but you keep climbing with faith. You don't need to have faith. Faith has you. Faith is walking you. Faith is moving your feet. Faith is breathing you. Faith is even letting you know that the sweat of your skin is happening because existence has faith in you. And you keep climbing, climbing. Every step is a prayer. Every footstep that you leave has been walked before by our ancestors. The ancestors that left us the legacy of the future, of us being the custodians. And we keep climbing and climbing until we reach the top. And there's a sense of quiet and of peace. And we see the luscious, beautiful green tree filled with olives. We're going to approach it to rest. We made it through lifetimes, through traumas, through shadows, through pain, through sorrows, through grief, through every single check experience a human can live. And now we come to a pause. And as we sit in the olive tree, a white squirrel comes and sits beside us with that olive leaf in its mouth. And as we take it in our hands, we feel, hear, sense the presence of someone behind us also laying down on the tree, resting. Is the presence of God telling you wherever you are, I am here. I am your future. I am your now. I am your past, present. I am all that is through you. Thank you for coming to be with me. The future of God is you. You take that olive leaf. You feel rested, assured, calm. You take a deep inhale under this tree, knowing that the presence of God is I am. And in the exhale, you let go, you let God, you bring the olive branch with you back as a symbol of the future of God through you. And when you are ready, just breathe normal. Open your eyes.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Feliz Navidad. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your contribution.